Hello everybody, this is Wafa Naqvi from Pakistan. Today we will talk about the introduction to C++. This is our first lesson. In the first lesson we will talk about the introduction of C++ and then later on we will talk about how to write the program and how to proceed with the uh, more complicated programs on C++. Okay, let's start. Description. C++ is high-level programming language developed by Bajani Stroustrup at Bell's Lab in around 1979. Yeah, about this. And this C++ basically is, we can say, is derived from C language. C is their predecessor, so C++ adds object-oriented features to its predecessor C. C was very common and quite easy and basic, but C++ have more features as compared to C language. C++ is one of the most popular programming language for graphical applications especially, such as those that run in the Windows and Mac environment. Basically, these both are the environments in which we use C++ language. If you don't have C++ in case of Windows and Mac, then you have to install it and then you have to proceed it. But when we have the Linux or Unix based system, then C++ is automatically installed in the systems. uh, Generally, if we want to write one program, we can use any txt file, like we can use notepad to write the program, that okay, what are the steps and what we want. But when we need to run the program, then we need to use the integrated development environment, which is generally called IDE. IDE is basically a platform where you can write program and you can run it. Okay, and this is such a platform where you can compile and interpret the code, and after that you can debug the code. Uh, if you even if you find that okay, your program is failed because of some reasons, then you can debug it and run it again. So this is the general procedures of this one. Uh, Introduction, yeah, it's very important. C++ is very familiar in the field of programming and is considered one of the top most popular in the programming language. So it should be the first to learn, because this comprise up of more many programs and more many applications. So it's very necessary to start with C++. C++ is the base where you can easily start learning, and it's very simple to learn as well. Most most of the other programming language have syntax based on the C++. This is why if you get a good grasp of C++, then definitely you will be able to pick up other more verbose language like Java, Python, or other languages far more easily. Yeah. C++ helps you to understand the logic structure of all the programming language. So if you are well acquainted with C++, of course it would be plus point for you to learn the other languages as well, especially when we talk about the Python, Java, JavaScript, HTML, SQL languages. It would be very handy for you. Interestingly, it would be quite amazing for us to know that when there was a work going on development of Simula language, it was identified that the concept of Simula matched with C++. So what happened, that they basically paired C++ with Simula language. So at that time it was introduced with the name of C with classes. That's the reason. This is why I have already talked earlier that C++ is more resembling to other languages as well, and it would be quite handy for the people to understand the other languages if you are acquainted with the C++. Basic structure. The basic structure of C++ started with documentation section. It is a section basically where you use to put details about the program, like you can write some extra information about the program. It's also used to call like comment section, or generally speaking we also called as the rough sections, where you can write what is not should be the part of program, but it would be quite informative and necessary for you to keep as an information. If you want to write comment of single line, you will write between two slashes. This is the structural formula for the basic structure. Okay, now we will talk about the section 1. As I have already told that we use double slash when we use the when we want to write the comments, but we use double slash for the header and footer files in the programs as well, but in that cases you have to use double slash both in the start and in the end. This is the case of a single line. But see, in single line basically we use two slashes, but for multiple lines comment you will use slash and static sign and write multiple lines comments, and it will be more than one line. And then when you want to close, you can close with the same symbol like static and uh, slash. So in the start it is static, it is slash and static, but at the end it would be static and slash. In the next section, here we will discuss about the subsection, you can say. The one is preprocessor directive section. The second is the first link section, and then we can talk about the definition section. Okay. What is a preprocessive directive? In this section, basically we use those lines which we write with the preprocessive directive. So it's very important to understand that what is the preprocessor directive. Preprocessive directives are lines including in a program that begins with the character hash, as I have mentioned down one, which will basically make them different from a typical source code text. So this is very important for to write one. But when we talk about the link section, in the link section we use header files for writing the program. We have different type of header files. We have library for where we can use these predefined functions, and we can select some headers from the library. We use header files like hashtag includes stdio.h, or we can use include iostream.h or conio.h. So these are all the header files used for different purposes. So basically this stdio is a standard library. When we talk about the iostream, it is used for class in C++. This is the same header file, input and output. And when we talk about the conic.h, it's used for the console. So these are the basic header files information. You can go through the library section. Basically these input and output operations can also be performed in C++ using the C standard input and output library. You can go through cstdio and known as stdio.h as well. It all depends on you that how you go with. Then in the last we have the definition section. This is the section where you have to define your program using the symbolic constant. For example, if you use if you want to define for the constant value which we want to define lot of time, let's say in form of loop, you can count there. You have to give command for of count. Let's say count 10, it will pop up with the value of tens, but when you give the command of count 20, it will pop up with the command 20. So these are the basic about the programming on C++. If, in the next videos, we will talk about how to write the programs and how to start with the programs, and then we will further proceed towards the more complicated programs. That's all from my video. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like our video, please subscribe our channel Science and Innovative Technology, and we will keep you updating about our new videos. Thank you so much.